Dad told me, real women don't cry about cheating. After I found my husband in bed with my cousin, they all showed up to her baby shower, not mine. So I stopped paying Dad's business loan. 3 weeks later, bankruptcy papers arrived. All right, Reddit. Need to get this off my chest because the last 3 months have been absolutely nuclear. I, 34 female, just watched my entire family implode in real time. Buckle up because this gets messy. Let me start with some context. My dad ran, a commercial HVAC business. Started it from nothing back in the 90s. Built it up to about $2 million in annual revenue. Nothing massive, but solid. I work as a senior engineer at a tech company pulling around $180,000 plus stock options. Different career paths, but we'd always been close, or so I thought. My ex-husband Alex, 32 male, and I had been married for 6 years. I met him through my cousin Danielle, 31 female, back in college. They were friends first, introduced us at some party, and we hit it off. Danielle was always the family golden child. Charming, athletic, could talk her way into or out of anything. I was the steady one. Good grades, good job, bought a house at 28. Boring, but reliable. Alex worked in marketing, made decent money, and we'd been trying for a baby for about 2 years. We had just started the IVF process. Actually, dropped about $15,000 on the first round. We were optimistic, excited, planning nursery colors and arguing about names. The fertility clinic appointments were brutal. Sitting in those waiting rooms surrounded by other couples, all of us pretending we weren't desperately hoping for something that might never happen. Alex would squeeze my hand during the procedures, and I'd tell him we were in this together, whatever it took. Joke's on me, I guess. 4 months ago, I came home early from a work trip. Had a presentation in Seattle that got canceled last minute. So instead of staying the night, I caught an earlier flight back. Landed around 8 p.m. Didn't tell Alex because I figured I'd surprise him with takeout from his favorite Thai place. The flight back was one of those rare smooth ones where you actually arrive early. I remember texting Alex from the airport saying the presentation got canceled, asking if he wanted anything from that Vietnamese place near our house. He replied fast, "Just tired. Going to bed early. Get yourself something." Should have been a red flag. Alex never went to bed before 11 p.m. I walked into my own house to find my husband with my cousin on our couch. Our couch, the one we'd spent 3 weekends shopping for because Alex insisted we needed something that made a statement. It was making a statement, all right. The next 30 seconds were this weird slow motion thing where nobody moved. Danielle scrambled, trying to cover herself with a throw pillow. Alex just sat there looking like a deer in headlights. And me? I just stood in the doorway holding pad thai and green curry, watching my marriage die in real time. The smell of lemongrass and basil mixed with the obvious sex smell in the room. Our wedding photo was literally visible on the wall behind them. 6 years of marriage reduced to this moment. There was a bottle of wine on the coffee table, the expensive stuff from our anniversary trip to Napa. Guess they were celebrating. "It's not what it looks like," Alex started, which is possibly the dumbest thing anyone's ever said while naked on a couch. I laughed. Actually laughed. "What exactly does it look like then? Because from here it looks like you're my cousin." Danielle started reaching for her clothes, hands shaking. "Tam, let me explain." "Get out." My voice was calm. Too calm. "Both of you, get that out of my house." Alex tried the tears, the excuses. It just happened. They didn't mean for it to happen. It was a mistake. He was sobbing, trying to pull on his jeans while maintaining some shred of dignity. There was no dignity left to maintain. Danielle was hopping on one foot like some kind of up comedy routine. Her phone kept buzzing on the floor. Probably her boyfriend, the one she'd been dating for 6 months. Yeah, Danielle had a boyfriend too. Real stand-up cousin. "How long?" I asked. 2 months, Alex admitted. At least he had the guts to be honest about that. His voice cracked when he said it. Good. 2 months. 8 weeks. 60 days of coming home to my husband, kissing him goodnight, planning our future baby while he was screwing my cousin behind my back, the IVF appointments we'd been going to. He was with Danielle the same days we were trying to get me pregnant with our kid. I did the math later. That morning, Alex had driven me to my egg retrieval procedure, held my hand while I was nervous about the anesthesia, promised we'd get through this together. Danielle had texted him, "Miss you at 10:47 a.m. I know because I checked phone records during the divorce. They'd been texting all morning while I was being a supportive wife to a man who was betraying me. The math made me sick. I told them they had 10 minutes to get dressed and get out. Stood there watching them scramble for clothes like teenagers caught by parents. Alex couldn't look at me. Danielle kept trying to talk, to explain, to make it somehow less awful than it was. The IVF, she started. We can still... Are you actually insane? You think I'm going to have a kid with you now? Get that out of my house before I do something we all regret. Alex grabbed his shoes and practically ran for the door. Danielle lingered, still trying to salvage something. Where am I supposed to go? She asked. Call Alex. Call your mom. Call anyone who gives a... Just get out of my house. She left crying. I watched her pull away in her car, the one I'd co-signed for, and felt absolutely nothing. Numbness. Like my brain couldn't process what had just happened, so it just shut down emotional response entirely. Then, I called my lawyer. By midnight, I'd filed for separation. By the end of the week, I'd moved into a corporate housing unit and started divorce proceedings. I called my dad the next day because, I don't know, you're supposed to tell your parents when your marriage explodes. Needed someone on my side, someone who'd be angry for me. What I got instead was a lecture about modern femininity. Real women don't cry about cheating, Dad said over the phone. His voice had that disappointed edge he usually reserved for when I was a kid and brought home a B instead of an A. This happens sometimes. You work it out. You don't just throw away a marriage. I stared at my phone, genuinely wondering if we had a bad connection. He was sleeping with Danielle, your niece, on our couch. Danielle's a good kid. Probably just made a mistake. Everyone makes mistakes. A mistake is forgetting to pick up milk. This was 2 months of deliberate choices. You're being dramatic. Alex is a good man. Maybe you weren't paying enough attention at home. You work a lot. Maybe this is partially on you. There it was. Somehow this was my fault. Dad kept going, warming up to his theme. Your mother and I had our rough patches, but we didn't just quit. That's what's wrong with your generation. No commitment. First sign of trouble? You run. First sign of trouble? I found them sitting in my living room. Language. And yes, that's what I'm saying. If you'd been a better wife, maybe he wouldn't have... I hung up. Didn't trust myself to keep talking without saying something I'd regret. I sat there in my empty corporate apartment, staring at white walls, wondering when my life had turned into this nightmare. The place came furnished with generic beige furniture that looked like it came from an office supply catalog. Didn't even have my own bed. Just some queen-size mattress that probably 100 other people had slept on during their own life crisis. I later found out Dad had already talked to Danielle, told her it would blow over and I just needed time to cool down. Like I was throwing a tantrum over a broken toy instead of reacting to infidelity. I called Mom that night to see if she'd at least be sympathetic. She was crying, but not for the reason I expected. This is going to tear the family apart, she sobbed. Danielle feels terrible. Can't you just forgive her for the family? What about Alex? Does he feel terrible too? He made a mistake. He's devastated. His whole life is falling apart. Good. Maybe he should have thought about that before screwing my cousin. Don't be cruel. He needs support right now. We all need to come together. Mom kept going. Apparently Alex had already called her, crying about how I'd thrown him out, how he had nowhere to go, how scared he was. Mom had offered to let him stay in our guest room. My mother was offering my cheating husband a place to stay. You offered him what? He has nowhere to go. He's family. He stopped being family when he started Danielle. That language isn't necessary, and I raised you better than to abandon people when they need help. That's when I realized I was the problem. Not Danielle for sleeping with my husband. Not Alex for cheating. Me, for having the audacity to be upset about it. Here's where the financial stuff gets relevant. Back in 2018, Dad's HVAC business hit a rough patch. Some equipment failure led to a bad job, which led to a lawsuit, which led to cash flow problems. He needed $250,000 to stay afloat. The details were ugly. He'd installed a commercial system in a hotel that failed spectacularly during a heat wave, caused thousands in damages, got sued for negligence, and his insurance didn't cover all of it because of some technicality about maintenance logs. The hotel owner was this guy named Brennan, who Dad had gone to high school with. Made it personal. Dragged it out in court for 8 months. Dad was stressing so hard during that time he ended up in the ER twice with chest pains. Turned out to be panic attacks, but the medical bills didn't help his situation. Banks wouldn't touch him. Combination of the lawsuit and his debt-to-income ratio. He came to me, said if I could just help him out, he'd have me paid back in 3 years. Would even put it in writing. I'd just gotten a big promotion, had the cash sitting in investments, figured helping family was the right thing to do. What kind of man doesn't believe her dad? We sat in his office, this cramped space above the warehouse that always smelled like motor oil and coffee, and drew up actual loan documents. $250,000 at 3% interest, 5-year term, monthly payments of $4,493, all official, notarized, legal. "You're saving my life here, daughter," he said when we signed. "I won't forget this." He actually had tears in his eyes. We shook hands like business partners. He took me out for steaks that night, talked about how proud he was, how I was securing the family legacy. I felt like $1,000,000. Finally earning Dad's respect on an adult level. I believed him, felt good, being able to help, felt like we were partners, like I'd finally earned some respect in his eyes. For 4 years, I watched those payments hit my account like clockwork. Never missed one. By the time Alex cheated, he'd paid back about $180,000. Still owed around $70,000, but we were on track. Then the cheating happened. Then Dad's man up speech, except aimed at me. Then everything that followed. Met Liam about 2 weeks after moving out. I was grabbing coffee at this place near my office, and he was behind me in line. Dropped his phone. I picked it up. We started talking. Simple as that. He was a pediatric nurse. Had this direct way of speaking that I appreciated. No games. When I mentioned I was going through a divorce, he was sympathetic but straightforward. "That sucks. How long?" 6 years. "Kids?" "Not yet. We were doing IVF." "Double sucks." Then we kept talking. Turned into coffee dates, then actual dates. I was upfront about everything. The divorce wasn't final. Things were messy. I wasn't looking for anything serious. He said he wasn't either. He'd gotten out of a long-term relationship a few months earlier and was just enjoying being single. Liam was different from Alex in every way. Where Alex needed constant validation, Liam was comfortable in his own skin. Where Alex played games about where to eat or what movie to watch, Liam just said what he wanted. Where Alex got upset if I didn't immediately understand his subtle hints, Liam communicated like an actual adult. Our first real date, Liam showed up in jeans and a hoodie. Alex would have spent 2 hours getting ready and another 30 minutes subtly fishing for compliments. Liam just walked up and said, "I'm starving. Where are we eating?" We went to this burger place near the waterfront. He ordered a bacon cheeseburger and actually ate it instead of picking at a salad while claiming he wasn't hungry. He told me about his job, about dealing with sick kids and their terrified parents, about why he became a nurse after his little brother spent 6 months in pediatric oncology when they were teenagers. He beat it, he said. But watching him go through that, watching those other families, I wanted to help. Probably sounds corny. Sounds like you give a hug about something. That's not corny. 3 months in, I found out I was pregnant. We'd been careful. Not perfect, but careful. Life finds a way, apparently. I gave him an out immediately. "I'm keeping it," I said, sitting in my apartment on a Tuesday night. "But I'm not asking you for anything. If you want to be involved, great. If not, I'll handle it myself." That straightforward thing again. Coming from me this time. No manipulation, no ultimatums, just facts. He spent a week thinking about it. My divorce wasn't even close to final. My husband had cheated on me. My family was treating me like I was overreacting. And now I had a baby coming with someone I'd known for 12 weeks. But here's what I realized. Liam was the first person in months who hadn't lied to me, manipulated me, or made me feel like my feelings were invalid. He looked me in the eyes and said, "I'm in. All in. We'll figure it out together." I cried. First time he'd seen me cry. Told him I'd been terrified he'd bail. I don't bail, he said. I'm apparently the boring, reliable one. Comes with the territory. We moved in together a month later, probably too fast. But n'est it. Everything else was already complicated. Might as well keep the momentum going. His parents flew out to meet me in early spring. I was nervous as hell. Meeting your boyfriend's parents while you're still legally married to someone else isn't exactly a Hallmark movie scenario. But his dad just shook my hand, looked me in the eye, and said, "He treating you right?" "He is." "Good enough. Let's get lunch." That was it. No judgment, no lectures about morality, just acceptance. His mom hugged me at the restaurant and said, "Liam told us everything about your husband, about your family. I'm sorry you're going through that, but we're glad you're taking care of yourself and the baby." Taking care of myself like it was even a question. I was having my son. Of course I was stepping up, but the fact that his parents thought that was noteworthy, that they'd clearly seen enough people bail to be genuinely impressed, said something about the world we live in. Liam and I planned a small baby shower for early November. Nothing fancy. His parents were flying in from Wisconsin. My buddy Marika was coming. Maybe 20 people total. We rented a room at this local restaurant. Had a barbecue theme because that's what I wanted. Sent invites to my family in September. Mom, Dad, my sister Jen, Uncle Mike, Aunt Carol, the usual suspects. Made it clear in the invite. Celebrating the arrival of baby Cooper. Please join us in welcoming our son. Our son, my first kid, should have been a big deal, right? Got exactly 0 RSVPs. I called Mom about 3 weeks before to follow up. She was weird about it, evasive. "We're not sure we can make it," she said. "It's on a Saturday afternoon. What's the conflict?" Long pause. "Well, Danielle's having her baby shower that day too." Danielle's baby shower. My soon-to-be ex-husband's pregnant affair partner. That Danielle. "She's pregnant?" I asked, already knowing the answer. 4 months. Didn't Danielle tell you? Danielle hadn't told me, because Danielle and I hadn't spoken since I threw her out of my house. "Let me get this straight," I said, voice level. "Alex, who I'm literally divorcing for cheating on me with Danielle, got her pregnant. And you're all going to her baby shower instead of mine. It's not instead of, it's just, she invited us first. And Danielle's family. We have to support her. I'm family. I'm your actual daughter. You know what I mean? This is complicated for everyone. Complicated, right? Cool. Have fun." Hung up before she could say anything else. Checked Facebook later that day. Danielle had posted the baby shower invite publicly. Cute little jungle theme with elephants. Registry linked to Target. Comments from all my family members saying they'd be there. Aunt Carol even commented, "Can't wait to celebrate this little miracle." Little miracle. She was celebrating the pregnancy that resulted from my husband cheating on me with my cousin. The Facebook post had 47 likes. I recognized most of the names. Cousins, family, friends, people who'd been at my wedding, people who knew exactly what Alex and Danielle had done. And they were all clicking like and leaving heart emojis like this was some beautiful love story instead of the wreckage of 2 relationships. I called Jen next, my sister, the one person I thought might have my back. "Are you seriously going to Danielle's baby shower?" She sighed. "Look, it's awkward, but Danielle reached out personally. She's trying to make amends, and Alex is really struggling with how you've cut him off. They need support." "They need support. I found them home in my living room." "That was months ago. Don't you think it's time to move past it? Life happens. People make mistakes. You've moved on with Liam, so why can't they move on together?" "Because Liam wasn't married to you when I met him. Because Liam didn't cheat on someone in our family. Because those are completely different situations, and you know it." "You're being stubborn. Dad said you were acting like this." "Dad said what?" "That you're holding a grudge. That you've always been overly sensitive. That you can't just let things go and move forward." Overly sensitive. Because being upset about infidelity is somehow a character flaw. Jen kept going. "Danielle feels terrible about everything. She wanted to invite you to her shower, too. Actually, as like a peace offering." She wanted to invite me to celebrate the baby she's having with Alex, the Alex while we were married. See, this is what I'm talking about. You're so angry about everything. Maybe if you worked on that anger, you could be part of the family again. Don't bother coming to mine then, I said. Stay home. Go to Danielle's. I don't give a damn anymore. You're really going to uninvite your own family? You uninvited yourselves when you picked her over me. I blocked her number right there. The day of our baby shower arrived. Liam's parents flew in Thursday night. His mom spent Friday helping us set up, gossiping about her book club and asking gentle questions about my family situation. When I told her none of them were coming, she just hugged me and said, "Well, we're here and we're excited." His dad, this quiet guy who'd been a machinist for 40 years, pulled Liam aside while we were setting up chairs, then came over to me. "My son really loves you," he said. "I can tell you love him too. Whatever's happening with your folks, that's on them. You focus on your family now, this family." It hit me harder than I expected. Had to step outside for a minute. The shower itself was great. Marika showed up with her wife and kids. Liam's friends from the hospital came through. His parents were wonderful. We grilled burgers, played stupid baby games, and opened gifts. I looked happy, really happy. Around 3 p.m., my phone buzzed. Text from a number I didn't recognize. "Hey, it's Alex. Just wanted to say congrats on the baby. No hard feelings." I stared at that message for a solid minute. No hard feelings, like he'd accidentally scratched my car instead of destroying my marriage. Deleted it. Blocked the number. Checked Instagram that night because I'm a glutton for punishment. Danielle's shower had been at my parents' house. Full spread. Catering, decorations, professional photos. Mom had tagged everyone. Jen, Aunt Carol, Uncle Mike, cousins I barely talked to. Every single one of them was there smiling, celebrating. Dad was in several photos holding up a onesie that said, "Future HVAC Tech," and laughing. Another photo showed him with his arm around Alex, both of them grinning. The caption Mom wrote, "So blessed to be welcoming our newest grandbaby. Family is everything." Not one of them had texted me that day, not even a "sorry we missed it." That's when I made my decision. Monday morning, I called my lawyer. Not the divorce lawyer, my business lawyer, a guy named Richard, who I'd worked with on some contract reviews for my company. "I need to understand something," I said. "I have a loan agreement with my father, personal loan, all documented. What happens if I stop collecting payments?" "Depends on the agreement terms. Most personal loans have acceleration clauses. You could call the full amount due immediately if payments stop. And if he can't pay, you could sue for the balance or sell the debt to a collection agency at a discount. Why?" Just exploring options. I pulled out the loan documents that night, read through every line. Sure enough, there was an acceleration clause I'd barely looked at when we signed. If the borrower missed 2 consecutive payments or failed to make payments for 60 days, the full remaining balance became immediately due. Simple enough. The next payment was due the 1st of the month, December 1st. Usually hit my account like clockwork around 9 a.m. December 1st came and went. No payment. I called Dad that afternoon. "Hey, just checking in. Didn't see this month's loan payment hit." "Oh yeah, meant to talk to you about that. Things are tight this month with the holidays. Was thinking I could skip December and just add it to the end." "That's not how the loan works." "Come on, it's 1 month. I've been paying you for 4 years. Think I can get a little grace period here?" "The agreement doesn't have a grace period clause." Jesus Christ. Are you serious? It's family money. Stop acting like a bank. It's a loan. That's literally how loans work. After everything with this divorce situation, you can't even cut me some slack? This is exactly what I'm talking about. You hold grudges. Can't just let things go. The payment's due by the 1st. You've got until end of business. Or what? You going to sue your own father? The contract says 2 missed payments triggers acceleration. So yeah, if you miss 2 months, the entire balance becomes due immediately. All $70,000. Long silence. "You wouldn't actually do that. Try me." He missed January too. February 3rd, I filed a motion to accelerate the loan. Full $70,000 due immediately. Dad called that night, screaming about betrayal and family loyalty. How could you do this to me after I raised you? After everything I've done for you? You mean like supporting Alex's pregnancy? Like going to their baby shower instead of mine? That kind of everything? That was your mother's decision. I just went along to keep the peace. You told me to man up. You told me I was being dramatic. You told Danielle it would blow over. You took their side. I tried to help you see reason. You're throwing away relationships over this. No, Dad. You threw away our relationship when you chose them over me. And you took my money for granted while doing it. I'll pay you back. Just give me time. You've got 30 days. That's what the contract says. He didn't have it. I knew he didn't have it. The business was still running, but $70,000 in liquid cash? No chance. He'd been reinvesting everything back into equipment and payroll. 2 weeks later, I got a call from his business accountant, a guy named Walters I'd met a few times. Professional, by-the-book kind of man. Need to give you a heads up, he said. Your father's asking me to restructure some things to cover a debt. He showed me your loan agreement. You actually pursuing this? Yeah. He can't cover it without gutting operational reserves. If he pulls that cash out, he can't make payroll next month. The business will fold. That his problem or mine? Just wanted you to have all the information. I thanked him and hung up. Here's the thing. I'd spent 6 years helping Dad with that business. Not officially. I had my own career. But I'd helped modernize his systems, set up his website, even landed a few major contracts through my network. I knew that business inside and out. I knew his biggest clients. I knew which ones paid on time and which ones were nightmares. I knew that the Wilson account brought in $40,000 annually, but required 3 service calls a month. I knew that the courthouse contract was easy money, but politically sensitive. I knew everything. And I also knew it couldn't survive a $70,000 hit. Part of me felt sick about it. This was my dad's life's work. 30 years of building something from nothing, and I was about to destroy it over family betrayal and missed payments. But another part of me, the part still raw, from finding Alex on my couch, from Dad's lecture about being too emotional, from watching my entire family celebrate my cousin's affair baby while ignoring my own pregnancy, that part felt nothing but cold satisfaction. March 1st, the deadline hit. No payment, no communication, nothing. March 3rd, I filed for the full balance due, plus accrued interest and legal fees. My lawyer estimated it would take 60 to 90 days to move through the system. March 15th, Dad called again. His voice was different this time. Small, broken. They're threatening to take the business, guys, he said. Who's they? The bank. Once this lawsuit hit, they reviewed my financials, saw the outstanding debt, called all my operating loans due. I can't cover everything. I'm going under. Should have made your payment. Please, I'm asking you as your father. Drop this. Let me keep my business. Did you ask Alex and Danielle not to shower on my couch? Did you ask them to respect my marriage? Did you ask anyone to maybe show up to my baby shower? That's not the same thing. You're right. It's worse. Because this is business. This is a contract. This is you thinking you could bend me over financially because we're related and I wouldn't do anything about it. You were wrong. I'll lose everything. Welcome to the club. He hung up. Haven't talked to him since. By April, Dad's HVAC business had filed Chapter 7. Complete liquidation. 30 years of work, gone. The building got sold to cover debts, equipment auctioned off, employees laid off. He lost the business, a big chunk of his retirement savings, and his reputation in the industry. I got a call from one of his former employees, a guy named Martinez, who'd been with him for 15 years. Just wanted you to know what happened, he said. Your dad had to let us all go. Couldn't even give us severance. Some of us got families, you know. I know. Cold way to handle it, ma'am. Whatever beef you got with your pops. We didn't do nothing. You're right, but your boss should have paid his debts. Fair enough. Just thought you should know the damage. That call stuck with me longer than I expected. Those guys losing their jobs wasn't part of the plan. But neither was my dad missing payments and expecting me to just swallow it. Word spread fast in the industry. Dad had been part of the local HVAC Contractors Association for 20 years. Within a week of the bankruptcy filing, he was getting calls from other contractors. Some sympathetic, some asking what the hell happened. A few even called me, trying to understand why I'd destroyed my own father's business. He didn't pay his loan, I told each of them. Simple as that. Mom called exactly once, crying about how I'd destroyed the family. How could you be so cruel? Didn't you care about anyone but yourself? Where was this energy when Alex was had Danielle? I asked. Where was this concern when you all chose her baby shower over mine? That's different. That's about forgiveness. This is about money. No, this is about consequences. You all thought I'd just swallow the disrespect and keep writing checks. You were wrong. She hasn't called back. Jen sent a long text about how I was dead to her, how she couldn't believe she was related to someone so heartless, how Dad was devastated, and it was all my fault. I blocked her too. Danielle actually showed up at my apartment in May. Alex was with her, very pregnant, looking exhausted. We need to talk, Danielle said through the door. No, we don't. You destroyed Dad's business over a grudge, over something that happened almost a year ago. When are you going to let this go? When you give me back the 8 months of my marriage you stole, when you undo the fact that you destroyed my family, when you make everyone stop pretending you didn't blow it all up? Tamara, you're being childish and petty. I closed the door, then called the cops when they wouldn't leave. They were gone before the patrol car even arrived. Liam was quiet that night. I was shaking with adrenaline. You okay? He asked finally. Yeah, I said, just tired of ghosts showing up at my door. He pulled me into his arms and said, then let's focus on the living ones. Our son James was born in June. 8 pounds, 3 ounces. Perfect. I didn't scream, didn't cry, just breathed through it and held Liam's hand until I heard that first cry. We spent 3 days in the hospital. Just the 3 of us in our own little bubble. Liam's parents flew back out, brought us groceries and baby supplies, and spent hours holding James while we slept. His dad taught Liam how to change diapers properly, which was both hilarious and oddly touching. You're doing good, kid, he told him. Not many men step up like this, especially with everything else you've got going on. My divorce finalized in July. Alex tried to get alimony since he wasn't working, took time off after Danielle's pregnancy. The judge wasn't sympathetic, especially after the cheating came out in discovery. We split our assets 50-50, which meant I got to keep most of my savings since they were pre-marriage accounts. Alex got the house, the one I bought, because the judge felt bad for him or something. Whatever. I wasn't going back there anyway. The loan judgment came through in August. Court ordered Dad to pay the full $70,000 plus another $8,000 in interest and legal fees, total of $78,000. He'll never pay it, doesn't have it, but now it's on his credit report. Follows him around. Any assets he tries to build, I can go after. Won't need to, though. He's 61, broke, and scrambling to find work in an industry where everyone now knows he couldn't make good on a family debt. Career's effectively over. My apartment lease was up in September. Liam and I found a bigger place together, an actual house with a yard. James's room is bright yellow because Liam insisted it would be cheerful. We have a dog now, too, some mutt from the shelter that James is going to grow up with. It's good, quiet, normal. Liam's parents visit once a month. They treat me like their own daughter, which is weird, but nice. His mom texts me recipes and baby tips. His dad sends articles about lawn care and home repair, like I'm joining some secret club of suburban moms. Meanwhile, my actual family is silent. No Christmas cards, no calls, nothing. Found out through Facebook, because I'm still a glutton for punishment, that Danielle had her baby in August. A girl. Alex posted a photo from the hospital with some caption about being blessed. Comments were full of my family congratulating them. Dad saying he was proud. Mom talking about being a grandmother. Jen posting heart emojis. Not one mention of James, who'd been born 2 months earlier. Liam caught me looking at my phone that night, jaw clenched. You okay? Yeah, just seeing what I'm not missing. He took James from his bouncer and came to sit next to me. You know we're your family now, right? Me, James, my parents, that's it. That's your team. I know. So stop checking up on people who don't check up on you. They don't deserve the real estate in your head. He was right. I deleted Facebook that night. Instagram too. Blocked every family member's number except Mom's. Kept that one unblocked just in case something happened to Dad, not because I care, but because I'd want to know when karma finally collected. 3 weeks ago, Mom called. First time in 6 months. I almost didn't answer, but curiosity got the better of me. Your father had a heart attack, she said without preamble. Is he alive? Yes, he's at St. Mary's. They did surgery. He's stable, but it was close. Okay. Silence. She clearly expected more. You're not going to come see him? Why would I? He's your father. He almost died. Her voice broke then. How can you be so cold? After everything, you can't even visit him in the hospital. After everything, I repeated. That's good. Let's talk about everything. Let's talk about how he called me overdramatic for being upset about my husband cheating. Let's talk about how he supported Danielle and Alex over his own daughter. Let's talk about how he skipped my son's baby shower but went to theirs. Let's talk about how he thought he could stiff me on a $250,000 loan because we're family. Which part of everything should motivate me to come hold his hand right now? He's sick. Can't you put aside your pride for one day? Is Alex there? What? At the hospital. Is Alex there visiting? Well, yes, of course. He's family. Then Dad's got all the family he needs. You made it pretty clear whose family I'm not. You're being a child. I'm being exactly what Dad taught me to be. Someone who doesn't cry about getting screwed over. Someone who moves on and handles their business. That's what real women do, right? I hung up before she could respond. Liam heard the whole conversation from the kitchen. He came over and just hugged me without saying anything. James was asleep in his crib, completely oblivious to the drama. You sure you're okay with this? Liam asked eventually. He had a heart attack, and my first thought was, I hope this doesn't affect the loan judgment. That tell you where we're at? Kind of brutal, babe. Yeah, well, sometimes brutal is the only option left. Haven't heard from anyone since. Dad's apparently recovering fine. Mom's staying with Jen. Danielle and Alex are probably planning Christmas with their perfect new family. And me? I'm sitting in my living room at 2 a.m. because James decided sleep was for suckers. Liam's passed out on the couch with his mouth open, looking like he just survived a war. The dog is snoring on the floor. My divorce is final. My family's gone. And I'm somehow happier than I've been in years. The house is quiet except for the sound of my son's soft breathing through the baby monitor. There's a peace in that. A calm I didn't think I'd ever feel again. It's strange how losing everything that was supposed to matter can make room for the things that actually do. James, Liam, our little yellow house. That's my family now. That's all I need. Sometimes late at night, I still think about how it all unfolded, how a single moment of betrayal rippled through everything I thought was solid. I used to believe family was unconditional, that blood meant loyalty. Turns out it only means shared DNA. I've stopped trying to understand why they chose Alex and Danielle over me. Maybe it was easier. Maybe I made them uncomfortable, the daughter who refused to play along, who demanded consequences. People love forgiveness when it's convenient. They call it healing when it means you stop holding them accountable. But forgiveness doesn't mean forgetting. And it definitely doesn't mean rebuilding bridges that led you straight into fire. Liam says I'm stronger now. He tells me I laugh more, that I breathe differently, that he can see the tension leave my shoulders when I hold James. Sometimes I catch myself staring at my son and realizing he'll never have those grandparents, those cousins, that big, noisy family I used to dream about. And you know what? That's okay. Because he'll have honesty. He'll have peace. He'll have a home that doesn't pretend betrayal is love or silence is virtue. Last week, I got a letter in the mail. It was from Dad's attorney. Apparently, he's trying to negotiate a settlement, offer to pay back $10,000 to clear the air. I laughed out loud when I read it. Then I put the letter through the shredder. Some debts aren't just financial. I took James for a walk afterward. The air smelled like rain. The world felt bigger than it used to. When I got home, Liam was on the porch, half asleep with the dog in his lap. He looked up, smiled, and said, "You look peaceful." For the first time in a long time, I realized he was right. Maybe this is what peace actually feels like. Not everything fixed, not everything forgiven, but finally free. Free from the weight of other people's expectations. Free from the illusion that family always means love. Free from the version of me that kept trying to prove I was worth staying for. I looked at my son, at his tiny hands gripping my sleeve, and whispered, "We're going to be okay, baby. We already are." And for once, I believed it.